why I believe in generational curses, mental illnesses, and families. Through someone's lineage, through their family's life. I'll give an example. You ever heard the story of the Leeds family, Mother Leeds, and the 13th child? In New Jersey, the Pine Barrens, the mother gave birth to her 13th child, and it turns out it was human in the beginning, but then it turned into, had a deformity and grew wings and flew out the window. Back in the 1800s. That's what became the story of the Jersey Devil and Pine Barrens and the Pine Barrens of New Jersey. There was another story a friend of mine had told me about a woman, I think it was in Chicago in the 70s or 80s, 1970s, 80s, who gave birth to a half human and it had what looked like a fish's head out of the mother's womb. And it was in a newspaper article back in the 1970s and 80s, and they had to kill it. Generational curses. Also, there's always more to things within a family's lineage. And what will hit a generation, what will not hit a generation. As I'm preaching this message, I feel like spiritual warfare is going on around me because I'm trying to preach something that is needed to say, that is needed to be heard. How is it that certain members of families don't argue, but then you have other halves of family members that do argue about simple stuff, even simple things pertaining to the gospel or the Bible? How is it that you have one child in a family, two children in the family? One child turns out fine, and the other child turns out chaotic, but yet they still grew up and had a good lifestyle. They both grew up in the same family, treated the same way. One child turns out good, and the other child turns out horribly bad. Makes something of themselves, and the other one doesn't. Why is that? Like mental illnesses in families, okay? Narcissism, sociopathic. You see these people who are serial killers. Let's say like Jeffrey Dahmer. There was another guy, I think it was in Ohio. Tim Sal, or Tommy Lynn Sal, or something like that. Said his whole purpose in life was to kill, steal, and destroy, and he came from a good family. Nothing ever bad happened to him in his story. He had a great home, great family life, but yet something was off with him, and he killed women. Jeffrey Dahmer killed men and boys, after he got them drunk or whatever, and he would eat them, kill them and eat them. I think the same thing happened with serial killer Ivan Milat in Australia. They made a movie about him too. So on and so forth. And there was another case in Tokyo, Japan, or Japan, where this guy, ever since he was a little kid, craved human flesh. He didn't know why. At a young age, such as 5 and 8 years old. Didn't know why. How can we say that, okay, it didn't hit his mom or dad's side of the family. His mom and dad didn't have this, but it just hit him. And people want to actually say that generational curses don't exist and they don't hit certain family members and some others that they don't hit. So it's like it'll miss some, but it'll hit others. Why? There's something to that. And honestly, I believe it literally goes back to Enoch. Well, past the Garden of Adam and Eve, but it goes back to Enoch's era. That is just what I believe. We'll send this to Isiah Saldivar, Generational Curses. Alexander Pagani, David Lynn, pastors of the 21st century. Send this video out to pastors that don't believe in generational curses. God bless. Amen. Fire nice. Godspeed.